So in today's video, we're going to be comparing the 5 most popular brokerage platforms in Australia. Now you might be wondering how I came up with my list of the top 5 brokerage platforms in Australia. Well, I kind of left it up to the general public because all I did is go to the Apple App Store and scrolled through the top free finance apps and noted down the 5 highest ranking brokerage platforms. So we have Commsec, Stake, Moomoo, CMC, and Pearler. And we'll be doing a full deep dive into each of these brokerage platforms. Obviously, we're going to be covering off the basics such as CHESS sponsorship and the brokerage fees associated with each platform, but then talk through some of the finer details such as deposit withdrawal times, customer service offered by each platform, additional features like charting, the app interface itself, and then talk through what sign-up bonuses are offered. So if you want to skip ahead to any specific section, then timestamps will be down below. But firstly, let's get all the basics out of the way. Now, all of these 5 brokerage platforms are all CHESS sponsored. And for those who don't know what this means, this essentially means that whenever you purchase shares through your broker, you're essentially the legal owner of those shares because they're registered directly under your name through the ASX via a holder identification number. The general consensus among Australian investors is that this provides an added layer of security and protection to you as an investor if anything were to ever happen to the broker itself. If a broker isn't CHESS sponsored, then this means they operate under a custodian model, where the owner of those shares is actually the broker themselves, and then they name you as a beneficiary to those shares, meaning you don't technically own your shares via a custodian model. Personally, my preference is to invest with a CHESS-sponsored broker due to the added layer of security. Next, when it comes to the brokerage fees for investing into the Australian stock market, Moomoo and Stake both have the lowest fees out of them all, starting at just $3 Australian if you're investing less than $10,000. If you're looking to invest more than $10,000 each time, then that's where Stake comes out slightly ahead. Pearler comes in third with a flat $6.53 to both buy and sell across the board, but if you do prepay $55 worth of brokerage, then you do receive a $10 Pearler credit, which effectively brings down each trade to $5.50. CMC Market comes in next with trades starting at $11, although an important feature to call out with CMC Markets is that trades under $1,000 each day for each individual stock is absolutely free. But do keep in mind that you still do need to pay $11 whenever you decide to sell your shares. And lastly, Commsec has the most expensive fees across the board, starting at $19.95 before moving all the way up to potentially $60. Next, when it comes to investing into the US stock market, most of the providers are pretty similar when it comes to cost, with the exception of Moomoo and CMC Markets. CMC Markets actually has the lowest international transaction fee, allowing you to trade with $0 brokerage into the US stock market, whilst only charging a 60 basis points FX fee, meaning if you wanted to invest 1,000 Australian dollars, you'd be paying $6 in fees. Moomoo has a flat 99 cents USD fee per trade, whilst having a slightly higher FX conversion fee of 55 basis points. So a $1,000 trade will set you back around $650 USD. All the other brokers like Stake, Commsec, and Pearler are all relatively more expensive when compared to CMC Markets and Moomoo. Now, when it comes to investing into the US stock market, one of the limitations with CMC Markets is that they require a minimum order value of 1,000 Australian dollars per trade. Now, they do allow you to purchase single units of more popular US stocks such as Amazon, Apple, and Tesla with no minimum order value required. However, the list is quite limited. Secondly, they don't offer a US trading account, meaning whenever you sell your US shares, it automatically triggers a currency conversion back to Australian dollars. Whilst on the other hand, platforms like Moomoo and Commsec allow you to do fractional share investing, meaning you could buy 0.1, 0.2, or 0.5 worth of a specific US stock. Next, moving on to deposit and withdrawal times. Now, when it comes to deposit times, it will vary from provider to provider. Moomoo, Stake, and Pearler all support Pay ID, which essentially means that you can expect your deposits to be pretty much instant. although first-time transfers can take up to 24 hours due to bank verifications. With Commsec, you actually have to create a CDIA account, which is linked to your net bank, which is an extra step in the process, but by doing so, your deposits will essentially become instant, especially if you're an existing Commonwealth Bank customer, as you'd just be transferring your funds from your everyday transaction account into your CDIA account. For CMC Markets, they originally only had the option to do direct deposits for a long time, meaning you had to wait 1 to 2 business days every time you made a deposit. However, recently they've introduced fast deposits, which acts similar to PayID, so you can expect your deposits hitting within an hour. Now, aside from Stake, none of the other providers offer instant buying power for unsettled funds, meaning you actually have to wait for your deposit to be cleared and landed into your account before you can actually start trading. This feature is available with Stake, however, only if you subscribe to their Stake Black subscription, which starts at $12 per month. When it comes to settlement and withdrawal timeframes, this is much more standardized across the board with all providers, with the settlement of trades taking T+1 days, where the T refers to the transaction date and the +1 refers to 1 business day later. This means that cash for executed sell orders takes 1 business day after the transaction date to land into your trading account, after which the time to withdraw those funds into your nominated bank account typically takes between 1 to 2 business days to clear. So in total, from the time that you actually successfully sell your shares, it can take between 2 to 3 business days for those funds to land into your own personal transaction account. Next, when it comes to the customer service provided, oftentimes this is an overlooked feature with providers, but is definitely an important factor to consider because you don't want to be stuck without any support when you run into any issues. After all, this is your hard-earned money that we're talking about. Now, every brokerage platform that we're talking about today has its own help center or support hub. All of them also have an email that you can use to contact their support team whenever you run into an issue, and they'll take between 2 to 3 business days to get back to you. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of email support because typically the help team will be responding to emails and will have a backlog to work through. And if I'm personally running into any issues, then I'd prefer to have them resolved sooner rather than later. Luckily, most brokerage platforms, with the exception of Stake, also offer a customer service helpline, which you can call directly whenever you're facing any issues. Hours of operation vary from broker to broker, but are available at minimum during business hours. Finally, Moomoo is the only provider with an online chat function, where you can speak to an agent directly on the app itself. I've used this function a number of times when I was running into issues on the app itself, and they were able to help me answer my questions and resolve the issues that I was facing within the matter of minutes. Next, when it comes to additional features, these are definitely more nice to haves when it comes to choosing which brokerage platform to go with, but in my opinion, it can make a difference in the overall investing experience. Now, what everyone is looking for from their own brokerage platform will vary from person to person. You might only be interested in dollar cost averaging once a month into your ETF portfolio, or you might want to pick individual stocks and get into options trading. Regardless of what your needs are today, they might also change in the future, which is why it might be a good idea to at least understand what additional features and functionality is out there on offer, so that in the future, you don't have to worry about changing brokers because your current broker doesn't have specific features or functionality that you're actually looking for. So when it comes to trading tools like charts, stock screeners, and going through financial statements, Commsec, Moomoo, and CMC Invest all offer this functionality. Stake does offer this as well, but you do have to pay for it through their subscription model. Whilst there are nuances between all of them, which I won't go into detail within this video because that can be a video in and of itself, just know that all three are very comprehensive and empowers investors with all the information that they would need if they wanted to go down the route of investing into individual stocks. Next, when it comes to being able to set up recurring investments, Moomoo, Commsec, and Pearler all have this functionality as well. However, with Commsec and Moomoo, it only applies to US investments, whilst with Pearler, you have the option to automate your investments into the Australian stock market as well. In my opinion, being able to automate your finances is a total game changer. I used to do everything manually, so whenever I got paid, I would transfer money across to my brokerage account so that I could actually invest my money. But sometimes I would actually forget because life just got too busy and I'd end up forgetting to invest 1 month. By being able to set up recurring investments, this is just one less thing on your mind that you need to remember to do each month. Next, when it comes to fractional share investing into the US stock market, Stake, Moomoo, and Commsec all offer this functionality. And lastly, Moomoo is the only one that offers a cash management feature. Now, a cash management feature essentially allows you to earn interest on any uninvested cash in USD or AUD in your trading account. With most brokers, when you deposit money into your trading account, your money typically just sits there. But with Moomoo, they offer you the ability to earn interest on up to 80,000 Australian dollars of your uninvested cash for up to 6.8% per annum for 30 days. And lastly, when it comes to sign-up bonuses, so these are essentially incentives for new users to sign up to that platform. The only 2 brokers that offer sign-up bonuses currently are Pearler and Moomoo. With Pearler, if you have a referral code, you can earn up to $20 credit to use towards your first few trades on the platform. Whilst with Moomoo, they offer new users the chance to earn up to 10 free stocks valued at up to $3,300 as long as you meet certain deposit requirements. If you're interested in signing up, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Next, when it comes to the individual app interfaces, now this is completely subjective. However, in my opinion, I like Stake's interface the most, as I find that it's clean and aesthetically pleasing to use. Whilst with Commsec, it feels a little bit dated and cold, which is kind of expected with a broker that's been around for so long now. With Moomoo, I think once you understand where to find everything in the app, then it's great. Initially, it might be a little bit daunting since there's so many features and functionality packed into the one application. But when you get used to it, it is really convenient and can save you a lot of time, especially when it comes to researching into individual stocks. Pearler is my least favorite. It's almost as if the app wasn't optimized to be used on a mobile itself, and instead looks like an interface that you would expect to see on a website. So that's all I had to cover off in today's video. Let me know what brokerage platform you guys are currently using. At the end of the day, I think all these brokerage platforms are great options. It ultimately just comes down to personal preference. If you enjoyed the video today or learned anything new, make sure to hit that like button down below because it really does help out the channel, and subscribe for more personal finance content in the future. Now, if you guys are still undecided about which brokerage platform to go for, then you might be interested in watching this video right here, where I went through and reviewed over 20 different brokerage platforms in Australia.